bring to you a report on what to do in case of heavy rain. There's nothing like preparation when it comes to torrential downpour. Isn't that right?
That's right. You must turn off your gas and electricity and quickly evacuate from areas vulnerable to flash flooding.
What should we do if we are already outside?
Evacuate to a safe place, away from construction sites, underground spaces, and areas prone to frequent flooding. If you're driving, do not stop the car. Instead, slowly drive through the flooded area without stopping.
What should we do once the rain stops?
When going into buildings that have been submerged, do not touch electrical facilities and make sure to ventilate, as there is a risk of gas leakage.
We should also reduce preventable damages and prepare for disasters ahead of time by following safety guidelines.
That is correct. You can receive real-time safety information through the Disaster Safety Information mobile app, 안전 디딤돌.
Thank you for all the great information. Remember, your safety is everyone's safety. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM 부산 영어방송.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
With the immense popularity of things like K-pop, K-dramas, and other forms of Korean entertainment, K-food, I feel like, you know what? It was just destined to become popular as well. Other factors also play a role in the heightened demand for K-food and K-cuisine. Strategic marketing by companies, even the Korean government, and collaborations with influencers have been successful. Also, the diversification of products that go beyond the initial things like ramen and kimchi to include ready-to-eat meals and healthy options, that has also helped. And there was also, of course, that recent craze with pre-cooked frozen meals like that kimbap that was really popular in the States, and even halal-certified products in the Middle East. So yes, K-pop probably still reigns at the very top, but K-food is gaining momentum too. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Tuesday, September 23rd on BEFM 부산 영어 방송. Good morning, Wavers. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to Morning Wave in Busan on this beautiful morning. Yes, it is Tuesday indeed. So, South Korea is at the helm of the United Nations Security Council this week in New York, with the country's full diplomatic forces firing on all cylinders. And diplomacy is the biggest form of soft power. But another key soft power, like I said in the opening, food. Yes, food is not only a form of sustenance, it's a form of culture, soft power, and also a crucial economic resource. South Korea's agriculture and food exports came in at just under $10 billion last year and are expected to exceed this threshold this year. So they're going to surpass the $10 billion threshold. The Agriculture Ministry has set its sights on exceeding these food exports. They want to look at $15 billion by the year 2030. And ramen is definitely leading the way, followed by snacks and sauces to top countries like the US, China, and Japan, in that order. So what's interesting is that the demand for different types of K-foods has been evenly distributed. Of course, we have the ramen and the kimbap, most recently thanks to, the K-pop Demon Hunters, that, flick, right? But the fantasy historical drama Bon Appetit, Your Majesty, in Korean it's Pokune Chef, has also really piqued people's interest in traditional Korean food that's been featured on the drama series. So culinary experts say that the increased export of sauces is also a way to make this K-food boom sustainable, as different cultures can develop Korean kind of these fusion recipes to their liking. For example, the recipe for gochujang butter noodles is one of the most highly ranked recipes on the New York Times cooking. So this is pretty exciting, I definitely think, because, I know I and definitely many of you waivers out there are definitely into food. So food is sustenance, but food can also be diplomacy, as we're seeing all around the world right now. So that is our main topic. But now it's time for our text topic. So are you ready? Here we go. Hacking is such a hot button issue these days, right? Having your information leaked. So have you ever had it happen to you? Have you ever had your personal information or maybe your account, whether it be your email or anything else, hacked into? I've had people tell me like they've had one of their social media accounts hacked into. 나는 해킹 당한 적 있다. 여러분의 경험담 들려주세요. So we can kind of commiserate together and complain about the terrible hacking incidents that you may have experienced. So I want to hear all about your opinions, your thoughts. Send them into BEFM's live stream live chat on YouTube. Go to the YouTube platform and type in BEFM or Busan 영어 방송 to find our channel. And yes, subscribe and then log in and chat with our other waivers. From your phone, pound 9050 shop 9050. That's going to cost you 100 won. You can also reach me for free through Kakao Talk. Same thing there. You got to find us, BEFM or Busan 영어 방송. Type that in, and then you can add us as a friend. Send in your messages and photos too. And the ways you can tune into our program on the radio. If you're in Busan, 90.5 or 103.3 FM. And like I said, if you're streaming us right now, you can listen to us and watch all of us. Yes, tune into us that way. You can watch at your leisure also. And we're available on the BFM app and the Patbang app. Both are free to download and easy to use. All right, we have Way Sports with Andrew. And we also have our special interview today where we're going to be taking an in-depth look at Charlie Kirk, because, even people around me, they've been asking me, like, who is this figure? Why was he important? And his assassination, why is it making such big headlines? So we're going to find out in hour number 2. And of course, some of you may have seen that yesterday there was a funeral and a gathering. President Donald Trump was there. His widow was there as well. And she addressed basically the country and the world. So we're going to talk all about that in hour number 2. And I'll be back with news overview. It's now 7:06 and this is News Overview. President Lee Jae-myung arrives in New York for a UN General Assembly. President Lee Jae-myung has arrived in New York to start his diplomatic trip to attend the UN General Assembly, where he will preside over the Security Council meeting. Court approves arrest warrant for Unification Church leader. The Seoul Central District Court has approved the arrest warrant for Unification Church leader Han Hak-ja, who faces allegations of violating the Political Funds Act, embezzlement, and other charges for risks of attempting to destroy evidence. Parliamentary to hold hearing on former Supreme Court Chief Justice election meddling allegations. The National Assembly's Legislation and Judiciary Committee yesterday voted to hold a hearing over Supreme Court Chief Justice Cho Hee-dae's election interference allegations on September 30th. Court allows filming of Kim Gun-hee's first hearing. The Seoul Central District Court yesterday allowed the press to film former First Lady Kim Gun-hee in the defense seat in her corruption trial scheduled for tomorrow. France recognizes Palestinian state at the UN. French President Emmanuel Macron announced his country's formal recognition of the state of Palestine during a UN meeting, while calling for the release of Israeli hostages and an end to the war in Gaza. And this was News Overview. It is now time for Now in Busan. We have Sejin in the studio. Let's say hi first. Good morning.
Morning.
Yes. So I want to hear if you have ever experienced any type of hacking. Yes, no?
I haven't been, fortunately.
Oh, yes. That's good.
Yeah,
That's good. Yes.
Yeah. Well, my older sister has.
Oh, no. What happened?
She's influencer. So her account on Insta was hacked. But she's very good at playing poor, like 불쌍한 척 잘해. So she got her account back.
Oh, she did?
Yes.
Oh, but somebody hacked into her account?
Yes.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yes.
So I'm sure it was very stressful for her.
Yes.
불쌍한 척 잘한다는 서진 언니님. Well, thank you for reporting on that story. We're going to now jump into our first local story. I heard that Busan is making some changes to its family support policies.
Yes. Busan City held a meeting yesterday to discuss ways to improve population policies.
Yes.
And they've announced some new measures. The key items on the agenda were multi-child benefit, plans to create youth-friendly industrial parks, and measures to tackle youth employment issues amid a rise of resting youth. That is economically inactive population, in other words.
So this is important. And I also hear that there is Gwangan Bridge and something about the tolls for this bridge.
Yes. Currently, Gwangan Bridge toll are fully waived for families with 3 or more children.
Okay.
Going forward, families with 2 children will also be eligible for 50% discount. Public parking will also change. The verification process for multi-child discounts at public parking lot will be also unified. So families will no longer need to present both a family love card and a car sticker. And services like the Nakdong River Auto Camping Site, bicycle rental fees, as well as annual membership fees for childcare support center will also be extended discount to families with 2 children.
I see. So this does sound like Busan is really trying to ease the burden on families.
Yes. The city said it will continue easing or abolishing requirements like family size or residency conditions. Officials said last year, Busan's total fertility rate and the number of births rebounds for the first time in 9 years. And added, they will create an environment where families with multi-children can enjoy tangible benefits and young people can pursue their dreams.
Yes, so this is definitely a good thing, these family support policies. I hope this helps a lot of the families out there. Next, I hear that Gyeongnam is taking new steps to stop foot and mouth disease. What's going on?
Gyeongnam province says from October 1st, trucks carrying cow and pig manure won't be able to travel outside the region.
Okay.
It's ahead of the season when the foot and mouth disease usually spreads. The ban will last until February 28th next year. Those trucks can only move within the Busan, Ulsan, and Gyeongnam regions, and they won't be allowed to go to other cities or provinces.
Yes. So why are they focusing on the manure trucks?
They said in the past, when foot and mouth disease broke out in Korea, the movement of livestock manure between regions was the main cause of the spread. And thus, restrictions on the movement were necessary.
Yes, so let's remind our listeners, what exactly is foot and mouth disease?
It's a contagious animal disease type 1 that occurs in cloven-hoofed animals such as cattle, pigs, and goats. And many cases occur in winter. Gyeongnam has actually kept its status as a disease-free zone for 11 years ever since the last broke out in Hapcheon County in 2014.
All right, so thank you for reporting on this one. Next, speaking of animals, I hear that Busan's getting a brand new animal hospital. Not just any hospital, but apparently the biggest one in the country?
Yes. Yesterday, Busan City held a groundbreaking ceremony for Gyeongsang National University's new Busan Animal Hospital. The project is Build Transfer Lease (BTL) scheme, meaning Gyeongsang National University constructing and operating a building on land donated by Dongmyeong University.
Yes. So how big are we talking about?
Well, this is the largest animal hospital in the country.
Yes.
It will cover 13,300 square meters. That's about the size of 2 football fields.
Okay.
It will have 1 baseball level and 4 floors above ground. And it's 1.6 times larger than Seoul National University's vet hospital.
Ooh, so who is supporting this or what entity?
Under a cooperation agreement, Dongmyeong University provided the land.
I see.
Gyeongsang National University is in charge of construction and operations. And Busan City is supporting with admin procedure, support, and policy development.
Yes, so, after all the paperwork, the dust is settled, I guess we're finally going to see, basically shovels in the ground, groundbreaking ceremony, right?
Yes. After going through feasibility studies, securing national funding, signing agreement, picking a project executor, setting the urban management plan, and getting all the permit, construction has officially begun. It's scheduled to be done by June 2027.
So that's in a couple years. Busan's going to be home to Korea's largest and most advanced animal hospital, right?
Absolutely. Mayor Park Hyung-jun said the hospital will lay the foundation for developing companion animal industry here in Busan.
Yes, I'm sure many people will appreciate this. All right, switching gears, we're going to talk about sports because the National Sports Festival is kicking off early in Busan because there are some pre-events, right?
Yes. Busan City says that from the 23rd, they'll be holding preliminary matches ahead of the 106th National Sports Festival, which opens on October 17. 7 sports are in store: gymnastics, fencing, canoeing, pool, badminton, fin swimming, and taekwondo.
Yes, so these events, why are they being held in advance?
Well, according to the rules, some events are either those linked to Olympic qualification or those with too many participants to compete during the main competition period.
Okay.
Which is why they are held in advance. Now athletes can perform at their peak and citizens get to see world-class matches up close.
Right, and imagine this does help the city too, right?
Yes, these pre-events are expected to boost the local economy with athletes, officials, and spectators coming to Busan and spending on tourism, accommodation, and dining. Unofficials said the early matches will build up the excitement and set the stage for a successful main event.
Yes, and of course, we're so excited that the National Sports Festival is going to be held in Busan. And Busan is hosting another event, quite the big stage for the performing arts this week.
Yes, from the 24th for 5 days, they'll be holding the 2025 Busan International Performing Art Market, or BPAM, at the Busan Cultural Center and the Eurasian platform. BPAM is a global festival-style performing art market. It's designed to open up more opportunities for works to be distributed and give both citizens and industry officials a chance to enjoy them.
So the events. Let's talk about the events that are lined up for this year.
They've put together a full program under the theme of New Wave of Performing Art. So you've got the opening ceremony, performance distribution, and plenty of networking sessions too. In fact, they're expecting about 60,000 people to join, and from 35 different countries, including professionals, artists, and of course the public.
Anything new this time?
Yes, actually this year they launched something new called the Regional Creation Project. It's all about unearthing strong local content. 3 works will be selected through a public contest. They'll be staged and judged, and then 1 final piece will be revealed at the end of the year. And in total, over 300 professionals, including 105 overseas delegates from 34 countries, will take part in discussions on distribution and international cooperation.
Yes, so a great way to support the local talent. A lot to check out, of course, because it is fall. But thank you for all the local information, and we'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Sajin.
My pleasure.
All right, let's get to your traffic and weather.
Good morning.
Good morning.
굿모닝입니다.
Good morning.
좋은 아침입니다.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Major news, local buzz, and expert takes. It's all here on Morning Wave in Busan. Brighten up your morning commute with Morning Wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
It's time for your traffic report. It's now 7:18 on this Tuesday morning. First up, let's talk about the Dongso overpass. It is congested from Mumnegor ramp to the old Gaegeum toll gate. Also, the top portion of Gwangan Bridge is looking slow right now. Also, backed up on Mandakdero from Mandak Cathedral to Deokjeon intersection. It's also looking slow on Chungjangdero from pier number 4 to pier number 3. Currently, it's 20 degrees Celsius under partially cloudy skies here in Busan. The daytime high is expected to go up to 26 today. Across the nation, rain throughout, starting in Jeju and spreading nationwide through Thursday. Today also happens to be Chubun, one of the traditional 24 solar cycles, widely recognized as the turning point from the summer heat to cooler autumnal days and longer nights. This was your traffic and weather. BEFM Morning Wave in Busan Fall Outdoor Special Stage. Fall for English-friendly Busan. What does it mean to live in an English-friendly Busan? And what role does English play as Busan rises as a global hub city?
올 가을 여러분에게 영어하기 편한 도시 부산으로 가는 길을 안내합니다.
This fall, on September 27th, Saturday at 3 p.m., join us for a special outdoor stage event at F1963 Open Square, featuring a thought-provoking panel with a professional English educator, Lee Bo-young, British broadcaster Peter Bint, K-pop idol Aaron, and me, Catherine. Plus, enjoy a special live performance by Busan's English-friendly city ambassador Kim Jo-han and singer-songwriter Coffee Sonyeon. BEFM Morning Wave in Busan Fall Outdoor Special Stage. Fall for English-friendly Busan.
9월 27일 토요일 오후 3시 F1963 오픈스퀘어에서 여러분을 기다립니다.
All right, so as you heard in that spot, it's coming. It's this Saturday. I'm so excited. And it's going to be at F1963 at 3 p.m. So if you have time, or actually, put it on your calendar and make a point to come visit us and check us out. We're going to have an amazing panel, guest speaker, as you heard, Lee Bo-young, but also a panel list where we're going to talk about English and just learning, having maybe being bilingual and all the ins and outs regarding that. So I look forward to seeing all of you there and looking at some of your messages as well. So we've been talking about the whole hacking incident, but that's been overtaken by birthday wishes for Taejin-님. So by the way, not our PD님's birthday. I think there was like a lost in translation kind of thing. PD님 생일 아니고요. Only Taejin-님 thus far. Anybody else celebrating a birthday? Happy birthday to you as well. We'll be back with top stories. It's time for top stories. We have Haley in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. So our text topic is about hacking. Have you been hacked?
I lost my 얼굴 책 account, my book of faces account because of hacking. Well, and then, you can recover your password connected to the email that it's connected to. But that's my college email. And you know how long it's been? Yeah, it's been long.
Yes.
Long enough for me to have forgotten that password. So I was like, do I want to go on this journey, like this Lord of the Rings epic journey of trying to retrieve passwords for every single... No, so I just... Whatever hackers took my account, they still have it. So they're probably, instant messaging all my friends with, God knows what. So I said, just, bye-bye.
One thing that really annoyed me, one of the things that I got hacked was my LinkedIn account.
Oh.
There was somebody who's using my profile, bits and pieces of my hard-earned
your
credentials, and
oh, that's serious, though.
That's serious.
'Cause that's impersonation.
Yeah, so I went in and I was just like, no. And I was changing everything back and changed the password because I was just like, who is this person who's using my cred, my street cred?
Your street cred.
So I was like, no. Well, we are going to dive into our top stories. We've been covering President Lee Jae-myung's trip to New York for the UN General Assembly. So yesterday, I ended the program with his interview with Reuters. There was like a bit of breaking news about the currency swap in South Korea's $350 billion investment package to the U.S. So this currency swap has become a major point of this trade deal.
Right, so let's delve into the story. So both sides are still working on details of that trade deal, including how to execute this pledged $350 billion investment package to the U.S. So the U.S. has been pushing for a full cash investment, with them determining where the money would go. However, South Korea's side has not been that. So with an interview with Reuters, President Lee Jae-myung said if South Korea were actually to withdraw $350 billion in all cash without a currency swap, 통화스와프, then the country would basically face a situation as one we did back in 1997 in the Asian financial crisis. So that's because if South Korea were to withdraw however amount that is in the Korean won, exchange that under the current currency rate to $350 billion. That, by the way, would be 490 trillion won. That figure is 70% of the South Korean government's entire annual budget.
Wow.
Also, we do, but then you could argue, well, South Korea, as all countries do, they have a currency reserve, 외환보유액. So why don't you dip into that? Well, that figure, again, is 84% of the entire foreign currency reserve. So if South Korea were to pull out 84% of its dollars from the currency reserve, then the dollar becomes scarce. And Econ 101 teaches us what happens to things that are scarce. The price goes up. In that case, that would be the currency exchange rate. So the value of the dollar against the Korean won would spike.
Yes. So that's the backdrop. And then we want to know what exactly a currency swap is and how this, once again, has become a major point in the negotiations.
Right. So what we just talked about is what kind of problems would ensue if South Korea were to pull out just flat out cash from its reserve. But how would a currency swap be a potential solution? So if South Korea and the U.S. were to strike a currency swap deal, then it's a deal between the two central banks. So the Bank of Korea and the U.S. Federal Reserves. So the Bank of Korea, or the BOK, would give a certain amount of the Korean won to the U.S. Federal Reserve as collateral, 담보. And then in exchange, it would get that much in dollars. So once the agreed upon period is over, the BOK gives the dollar that it borrowed back to the Federal Reserve for the one that it sent up as collateral. So South Korea would be basically borrowing the dollar from the U.S. to invest back into the U.S. without having to empty out its treasury. So that's why the currency swap, that's something that the South Korean government is trying to make happen. And this is the key. Because the two banks would set the exchange rate in advance, it wouldn't be affected by whatever's actually happening in the foreign currency exchange market.
I see.
So the sticking point, however, seems to be that South Korea is asking for an unlimited currency swap, which is similar to a system that Japan has with the U.S., and the U.S. is trying to put a cap on it. So this is a developing story.
Yes, and hence, while we're talking about it, it's an important one. As this is going on, North Korea released a speech from its leader, Kim Jong-un.
Right, so a lot of statements and interviews are coming out ahead of the big annual diplomatic event, that is the UN General Assembly, or UNGA. So Kim Jong-un's speech, this came from a key parliamentary meeting in North Korea from Saturday. It was published by the Korea Central News Agency. There was an interesting difference in his tone on how he addressed these two entities. Very positive towards Donald Trump. Against denuclearization and full-out hostile towards South Korea. So for the first time, Kim Jong-un spoke directly about his personal relationship with U.S. President Donald Trump, saying that he has good memories with Trump on a personal level. And he stated that if the U.S. lets go of their, quote, obsessions with denuclearizations and comes to grip with reality, then he doesn't see why the two wouldn't be able to meet again. So basically floating the possibility of a summit again. But then he also went through all the reasons of why North Korea just couldn't and wouldn't give up its nuclear weapons, saying that the entire world knows what happens to the countries and what the U.S. does to countries that give up their nuclear weapons.
And he even had pointed messages for South Korea.
Right. So again, full-out hostility. He actually threatened, or very thinly veiled threat against South Korea, saying that the first mission of nuclear weapons is deterrence, deterring war. If that mission were to disappear for whatever reason, then the second mission kicks in. And he said that would lead to the collapse of the underlying foundation and military organization of South Korea and its allies. So basically threatening the country. And Kim also said he will never sit down with South Korea, stressing that the North will never seek unification with the South.
Well, a lot going on there, a lot to unfold. We're going to move on, though. In line with our text topic today, hacking and personal information breaches have been pervasive as of late. But despite the seriousness of this issue, penalties are minimal at best.
Right. So basically, it comes down to how much is your personal information worth, not just to the hackers, but when it comes to compensations and penalties. So there's been new light shed onto how little companies are penalized for not taking care of their customer data. So in the past 5 years, there have been 88.54 million pieces of personal data leaked, and that's from both the private and public sectors.
Okay.
However, institutions and companies on average got fined 1,000 won per piece of personal information. 개인정보 한 건당 1,000원. That's not a typo. This is according to data from the Personal Information Protection Commission, the PIPC, released by Democratic Party lawmaker Min Byung-deok. And this totals 451 accidents. When you do the math, each case, so 사건, comes to a little over 706 million won in fines per case. However, you divide that by each piece of personal information that was leaked, it comes to 1,019 won. So when we look at the bigger picture, like hundreds of millions of won, 몇억, that fine does seem significant.
Okay.
But then you look into how many pieces of information was actually leaked, and we're talking, well, not quite pennies, but 1,000원.
1,000원.
Which in this economy. So under the current law, and the reason is, if there's a cap on the maximum amount of penalties, which sets it at 3% of the company's sales that's relevant to the breach. So it's not even the total sales. It's what's relevant to the breach, or under 2 billion won.
So it's capped once again. In reality, this is fairly weak compared to other countries.
Right. So let's look at the European Union. For major violations of its General Data Protection Act, the European Union, or the EU, fines companies 20 million euros. That's about 32.8 billion won, or 4% of its global sales. So there's a market difference there.
Yes.
Sales that are relevant versus all of your sales.
Right.
And then here's the key. Whichever one's higher. So they're really looking to put a dent in the company's wallet.
Yes.
Amazon back in 2021 had to pay the government of Luxembourg 1.2 trillion won worth of fines. In the U.S., the Federal Trade Commission fined Facebook back 6 trillion won worth of fines for arbitrarily leaking information of some 87 million users to a polling company.
Oh, yes. So you can see the difference. All right, let's go to our next story. It's an ongoing one regarding the U.S. visa and immigration fees. And fees for the ESTA or ESTA, that's also going to go up.
Right. So we just talked about the H-1B visa yesterday, the $100,000 fee. But for travelers, the Electronic System for Travel Authorization, the ESTA, or in Korean we call it ESTA, that's a part of a visa waiver program, that is pretty much doubling starting at the end of this month. So this is according to the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. It updated the information saying that the ESTA fees will go up from the current $21 to $40 starting September 30th, which, you know, when you compare that to a $100,000 fee, it's $40. But if you're traveling as a family of 4 or 5, that's already it all adds up. And that applies to travel to the U.S. for within 90 days. And so, again, generally, fees are definitely getting more and more expensive.
But might this actually be good news for some companies?
Right. So let's go back to that H-1B visa for skilled workers in fields of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. So this 100-fold increase in visa fees for skilled workers to the U.S. has American rivals like China, Canada, and Europe becoming more hopeful that they might now get the upper hand in getting these skilled STEM workers into their country. So recently, the chair of the Canadian Chamber of Commerce gave an interview in which he said something along the lines of, let's seize this opportunity, basically. One executive of a digital assets group that's based in Toronto said that the visa change could help Canada becoming the preferred destination in global talents. Sentiment echoed in Europe as well. China has definitely been more vocal about this. That's been in the works for a while. China has been suffering from a brain drain, its skilled workforce exiting the country.
Right.
They're actually trying to change that to a brain gain of having these people come back.
Yes, yes. Okay, so of course we're going to cover any other evolving factors in this. In the meantime, let's get to our final story for this first hour. Late night talk show host Jimmy Kimmel. He is coming back on air.
That's been a full tumultuous week, and we're seeing at least a conclusion. So Disney, parent company of ABC, on which the show Jimmy Kimmel Live is on, they announced that Jimmy Kimmel Live would return to air this Tuesday local time. So a little bit of background, Disney indefinitely suspended Kimmel's show after his last Monday night monologue where he criticized / poked fun at Donald Trump's response to Charlie Kirk's death. But then this came and the situation devolved after the chair of the Federal Communications Commission, the broadcasting watchdog, basically threatened ABC with its license, spurring this entire debate about free speech and freedom of press. And that's led to an ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union, releasing an open letter signed by 400 Hollywood stars. We're talking Jennifer Aniston, Ben Affleck, Meryl Streep, Tom Hanks, condemning this decision. But then at the same time, it also drew praise from Trump and other supporters who also threatened saying that the Federal Communications Commission could look into other shows that have been critical of the administration. So that's a close on this chapter. However, Kimmel's Tuesday night monologue, when he comes back, that'll definitely be the most anticipated / scrutinized, whichever direction you fall on.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you for going over all the top stories, and we'll be sure to check in with you with Waglwagle. Hour number 2. Thank you, Haley.
See you in a bit.
All right, it's time for our first song break for today. How about this one? Benny has requested this for Taejin's birthday. I feel like we're a family at this point, right? The Morning Wave in Busan family. So this is 태어나줘서 고마워 by Bix. Enjoy. Happy birthday.
종일 나를 괜히 미워했겠지 아직도 넌 나를 몰라 바보 1년에 딱 한 번뿐인 너의 생일 잊을 리가 있겠어 내 맘 그동안 표현 못해서 미안해 쑥스러웠나봐 사랑한단 말 두 눈을 감아줄래 축하해 Happy birthday to my love 10년이 지나도 하루가 지나고
It's time for Wave
Sports.
Oh, 담백.
You made me sweat that. I was like,
How are you, Andy?
I'm doing all right.
Yes,
Doing good. Yourself?
Pretty good. It's a Tuesday, only Tuesday. Other than it's just, you know what it is? It's like going back to the routine. I know it's like week 4 already for like, if you're counting, if you're, in the education industry, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I know
it's
exactly what you mean.
It's like so slow. Time, it's like watching paint dry on the wall right now.
Chuseok just around the corner.
Yeah.
Chuseok just around the corner.
But think about all the makeup classes.
There you go.
보강.
Yeah, well, videos.
My school doesn't allow. So,
yeah, well, anyway.
Hacking is such a hot issue right now. Have you ever been hacked?
I've knock on wood.
Yes.
I think somebody or something or some entity has attempted to hack into some emails. But then I changed my account thing right away. Lucky enough, I had my the 3-step verification, whatever it is. You know what I mean? So that I was okay. I'm trying to think. I think an old email of mine was hacked, but I wasn't using it.
So it was okay?
I didn't really... I did try to get back into it for something.
Okay.
I was like, I think there's something in maybe photos or something.
I had to get a new email address.
Yeah.
Because they had changed all my information. And they were sending ad Viag thing.
Yeah.
You know, that.
Yeah.
And people were like, are you hard up on money? And I was like, what are you talking about?
Or whenever the book or the
it.
gram, if that gets hacked, and then people they're like, my Bitcoin wallet has now inflated to this price, and then you're like, oh yeah, okay, I'll just delete you.
Yeah,
it's all right.
All right.
But we are here for some sports, and we're going to kick things off with and. I love that I've gotten some messages from people who tune into the program or someone who's like, hey, you talk a lot about the MLS these days. I'm like, yeah. Well, when your name is Son Heung-Min and you're on, or you want to go en fuego, you are on fire.
Yes.
We're going to talk about you.
Yes.
All right? So, if you've been living under a rock, you might not know that LAFC is doing quite well.
Since they were doing okay.
They were doing okay.
Okay already, but they're doing even better.
Okay, yes.
해외 조카 joined the team.
Yeah.
that's my nickname for him. 해외 조카.
There you go.
Yeah, wishful thinking.
Okay.
Yes.
And, there's just been multiple hat tricks in the past 3-4 games. It's been kind of not just for him.
Yeah.
So LAFC stormed to a commanding 4-1 win on the road against Real Salt Lake. Led by a stunning hat trick from Son Heung-Min. The home side struck first from a long-range effort in the opening quarter hour, but LFC quickly turned the tide. Now, actually, it was kind of funny because when I watched the extended highlights and I saw that opening goal, I was like, one of these. And then, then it was just like, let's roll.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Denis Buanga as well has just been on fire. And has multiple hat tricks in the past, 5 games, also setting up games and setting up goals, And in this game, to get Sonny's hat trick, it was funny how he kind of squares the ball across.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, if they weren't up by a goal and Sonny wasn't on a hat trick, Buanga's not passing that ball.
He does.
He's definitely not.
He's taking it.
Or, if it's not Son, he's not passing that ball.
Right, and that was a difficult angle. I mean, he could have just put it in himself.
I'm pretty sure the coach was probably thinking just shoot it.
Yeah.
Just shoot it. Sonny's there for a rebound if it's there. And I'm pretty sure Sonny's not going to be complaining that if he doesn't square that ball across.
Because that was very unselfish of him.
Very, very much so. All right. So we're going to get to a quick clip here. This is just Sonny after the game being very, I don't want to say nonchalant, but he's just talking to the camera quickly about how it feels to get his first hat trick.
Yeah, it's amazing to get first hat trick in MLS. I mean, it's very, very happy, but grateful to everyone. Amazing assist from Timmy, first goal. And second goal, Ryan, and third goal, and Denis. I mean, I'm very, very grateful, but also the defender who makes a really, really good job. So, very happy to get us 3 points and also hat trick.
Right.
At the end there, that's him and Denis Buanga,
They're
just
like,
loving
New
life.
Peppu.
Yeah, they're having a blast.
They are.
So so it was pretty awesome. That Buanga actually assisted on his hat trick, and then also got the last goal of the night, which moved him past Carlos Vela as the club's all-time top scorer.
Yes,
which is pretty amazing. It also this. I mean, yeah, I'm sure Sonny would also say this exact same thing. It was a great result for them.
Yes.
It was, get the 3 points. It was great to get a hat trick, but also it secured their place in upcoming MLS Cup playoffs.
That's right.
Which I think is, that's the biggest part of all of it.
Right, and then this was on the road, and then was it yesterday? Monday, I was watching it on breaks during class.
Nah, it's all right. Just have it on the monitor.
And they had a home game against the same team.
Yeah.
It was 4-1, same score.
Exactly.
And then Buanga, he got the hat trick this time, right?
Yeah.
Sonny also got a goal, but yeah.
Yeah.
Between them, they're just like hot on fire.
Exactly.
So let's move on and talk about
some rugby.
Okay.
Don't usually talk about rugby on this program
sure.
unless there's like a big event. And this is a big event. But the reason I want to talk about this one, not that it only involves Canada, or it also involves Canada, but it's also kind of an underdog story. And we love an underdog story on this program, as I hope any sports fans do. So think about if you're a national team, you would expect you're getting funding, you're getting backing from the national government, these kind of things. You wouldn't expect that you're going to have to crowdfund or crowdsource to get money for training and travel and expenses to go to the Women's World Cup.
Wow.
Would you? I don't think so.
Yeah. But, sometimes we hear these stories and it's...
And it is sad that it is, on the men's side,
Yes.
I don't think it's the same thing.
Right.
So... Canada, we're talking about Canada because this has happened to them, shocked the rugby world by knocking out reigning world champion New Zealand 34-19 to earn a place in the Women's Rugby Cup final. The Maple Leafs, not the hockey team, it's okay if I say it about them and cheer for them as the national team, fueled by a crowd-funded campaign that kept their dreams alive, jumped out to a commanding 17-0 lead behind early tries by Justine Pelletier and Asia Hogan-Rochester and Florence Simmons. Now, the thing about this here is that, the Black Ferns is what the ladies team is from New Zealand, that they call themselves. They were looking to get into their second ever they were looking to go back-to-back, and, it's not the case. A lot of people say this is an upset, they can't believe it, but Canada's actually ranked number 2 in the world.
Oh, really?
Ranked number 2 in the world, but don't have the funding.
Funding? Really?
Come on, government.
What's going on?
What are you doing?
Yes.
So now the focus for Canada shifts to Twickenham, where Canada will face top-ranked England for the championship. Now, this is kind of unbelievable. The Red Roses have bulldozed their way through the tournament, scoring nearly 250 points while only conceding 25. A little bit lopsided in some of those games, setting up a mouth-watering clash between the world's top 2 teams. So it's interesting for the Rugby World Cup on the men's side and the women's side because they do want to spread the game. There are nations who are smaller in the sense of maybe not in population, but with maybe skill level in the game. So some of those points were against some of those teams that were on the lower end of the totem pole, if you will. Now, this weekend on Saturday, everything gets going it'll be the third place game where New Zealand will take on France at 8:30 p.m. on Saturday evening. And then Canada will take on England. That's at midnight, Saturday night, Sunday morning, if you will. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. A tough test for the ladies, but I think it's going to be a good game nonetheless.
And we have a message for anybody. Allocate funds so they can...
Come on.
Come on now. They're that good, and we need some funds for them.
Exactly.
And I hear we have some late-breaking news regarding another soccer
Golden
event.
Night in Paris. The Ballon d'Or was handed out for the top women and top men footballers in the world. And no real surprises here. A lot of people thought that Lamine Yamal might be able to squeak his way in there. But Ousmane Dembélé for PSG, everyone's been saying since PSG won the Champions League, he was a shoo-in for this. And then also had a good showing at the Club World Cup in the U.S. over the summer.
Okay.
And Dembele wasn't even involved in that. Or sorry, Yamal wasn't even involved in that. So it's kind of, I don't know. I would have liked to seen the kid win just because
So
I think
young.
he's unbelievable to watch.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm sure he'll have more chances in the future. But it is a big comeback story for Ousmane Dembele, who's been kind of pushed to the side at Barcelona, makes a move to PSG, and then gets a lot of accolades there. Pretty amazing. Over on the women's side, this is even more remarkable. A third consecutive year winning the Ballon d'Or. Faitana Bonmati. This year she plays for Barcelona and in Spain's midfield. It's unbelievable. The third consecutive year. I'm not sure. Maybe I should have actually checked this. What the most in a row is for the women. But she's definitely got to be up there for sure. Pretty amazing stuff.
Just even to win one in your lifetime.
Exactly.
It's an honor.
100%.
Right. Well, we got to talk about,
For our listeners, I'm sure if you're watching live on YouTube, you're understanding by the look at, I'm laughing, but Kat's face, what we're going to talk about next.
Our favorite team, the Lotte Giants.
The Lotte Giants.
What's going on?
Update here. KBO update and the Giants' chances of fall ball.
Yes.
I'm going to say there's still a chance. Mathematically, it's still there.
Mathematically, there's a chance.
Mathematically, it's still there because they still mathematically could make it in. The top 5 teams make it into the playoffs. So right now, the LG Twins they're a lock. Hanwha Eagles are in. SSG Landers are also, unless they lose every game from here on up, but I don't even think it's possible. I think they might only have 4 games left. And then it's Samsung, KT, and Lotte, who are all battling for those spots.
Yes.
Now, there's only a 2 game difference between Samsung and Lotte, a game and a half between KT and Lotte.
Oh my gosh.
So it's going to be a bit testy, all right? But Lotte do play Samsung twice in their final games. So there's that as well. But that might help KT, which would be the awful thing, right?
Our little birdie in the room has a question for you.
Okay.
She wants to know specifically what's the probability.
The probability, you like percentages.
Percentage that they could win.
Well,
they could make it to the
here's the thing.
postseason.
If KT loses, say 3 of their games, and Lotte win 5 of their final 6, they're in. They're in. So
we need some help.
So the final games here. I know we're tight on time here. We have tonight in Ulsan, and 2 of these games are in Ulsan. I'm just like, come on, like what? Have them at Sagic, but maybe a change of scenery might help. Ulsan tonight against the NC Dinos. Tomorrow in Daegu against the Lions. Thursday back in Ulsan against the LG Twins. That one, I'll take that loss, but LG I think are already sitting in the comfort zone. They're fine. Friday at Sagic against Samsung again. Sunday, up in Jamshil against the Doosan Bears. Everything wraps up on Monday in Incheon against the SSG Landers. Let's try to make sure that we have everything squared away before Monday.
Well, you're much more optimistic than some of our listeners.
Come on.
0.
Keep the
왜 그러세요, 타미님?
Keep the faith, Tommy. Come on now.
Come on now.
Yes.
Yes. Well, we'll be sure to check out the last, 6 games.
Hey.
And we'll check in with you real soon.
And I have to give a big shout out to my wife.
Why?
Happy birthday.
Oh, it's her birthday as well.
Yes.
So many birthdays today.
Lots of birthdays today.
근데
Happy
우리
birthday,
PD님
babe.
생일 아닙니다. So with that, we're going to say goodbye. Thank you, Andrew.
Bye-bye.
Yes. How about this one dedicated to, I don't know, to anybody out there? Love Fool by the Cardigans. Enjoy. I'll be back at 8.
Dear, I fear we're facing a problem. You love me no longer. I know, and maybe there is nothing that I can do to make it do. Mama tells me I shouldn't bother, that I ought just stick to another man.
안녕하세요. 현대해상 모델 이정재입니다. 70년 현대
그리고 모두가 안전하게 이동 가능한 교통 인프라가 갖추어져 있는 곳. 이곳은 글로벌 허브 도시 부산입니다. 일상을 풍요롭게 만들어주는 문화와 예술, 따뜻한 나눔을 실천하는 복지, 모두가 안심하고 차별 없이 누리는 안전한 도시 기반 시설로 우리의 일상은 안전하고 행복해집니다. 시민의 행복을 생각합니다. 시민의 행복이 쌓여갑니다. 이 캠페인은 행복도시 부산의 가치를 높이는 부산시설공단이 함께합니다.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 스쿨존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스쿨존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참, 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
Welcome to Busan. Let me show you around. Here you can find the world's largest musical in-ground fountain and the world's only UN memorial cemetery. Stroll along the coast and explore the largest mountain fortress in Korea. As well as all this, there are so many tourist attractions, beautiful exhibitions, vibrant culture, convenient facilities, and delicious foods unique to Busan. With all the beauty and charm of the amazing city of Busan, you'll find yourself right at home in this ever-changing tourism paradise. So stay with us a while. Busan, your #1 tourist destination. Your home, away from home. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM, Busan 영어방송.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
It's now 8 o'clock. This is hour number 2 of Morning Wave in Busan. We begin with Spotlight News. President Lee Jae-myung arrives in New York for UN General Assembly. President Lee Jae-myung has arrived in New York to start his diplomatic trip to attend the UN General Assembly, where he will preside over the Security Council meeting. He is scheduled to meet with Larry Fink, the CEO of Investment Management Corporation BlackRock, and a delegation from the U.S. Congress in a few hours. He will give a keynote speech at the UN General Assembly on Tuesday local time and end the trip by meeting Korean business leaders and Wall Street leaders for a South Korean investment summit. Court approves arrest warrant for a Unification Church leader. The Seoul Central District Court has approved the arrest warrant for Unification Church leader Han Hak-ja, who faces allegations of violating the Political Funds Act, embezzlement, and other charges for risks of attempting to destroy evidence. Han allegedly colluded with a church official to pass off 100 million won in political funding for the former Yoon Suk-yeol administration's support in church activities, as well as allegedly giving luxury goods to former First Lady Kim Gun-hee. Han's side denies the charges during the hearing, claiming that she doesn't know much about South Korean politics, but said that they will cooperate with the ongoing investigation. Parliament to hold hearing on former Supreme Court Chief Justice election meddling allegations. The National Assembly's Legislation and Judiciary Committee yesterday voted to hold a hearing over Supreme Court Chief Justice Cho Hee-jae's election interference allegations on September 30th. The hearing will center on claims that the Chief Justice sought to influence the 2025 presidential election by allegedly exerting influence to handle then-candidate Lee Jae-myung's election law case. The vote passed with 10 lawmakers in favor and 5 abstentions, with People Power Party members walking out in protest of what they called political favor. Court allows filming of Kim Gun-hee's first hearing. The Seoul Central District Court yesterday allowed the press to film former First Lady Kim Gun-hee in the defense seat in her corruption trial scheduled for tomorrow. Kim is due in court for the first hearing of the trial and faces charges of the Capital Market Act and the Political Fund Act brought up by the Min Jung-gi Special Counsel. The court said the press will be allowed to film in designated areas inside the courtroom, and they will have to leave when the bench announces an end to the filming. France recognizes Palestinian state at the UN. French President Emmanuel Macron announced his country's formal recognition of the state of Palestine during a UN meeting, while calling for the release of Israeli hostages and an end to the war in Gaza. Macron said that recognition is a necessary step to break the spiral of violence and secure peace, as Israel has condemned the series of recognitions of the Palestinian state in recent days as rewarding terrorism. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, who joined the conference remotely, called for Hamas to surrender its weapons. And UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said that statehood for Palestinians is a right and not a reward. And this was Spotlight News. It's time for Waggle Waggle. Haley's here.
Hello, hello.
I just want to clarify because
It's not
I
my
love what you
birthday?
do. It's not your birthday.
Neither
It's
is
not
yours?
mine. It's not our PD님's birthday. 우리 PD님 생일 10월 달이에요. 10월 21일이에요.
Also, I saw 생신 축하드립니다 as well. And I think the bigger correction that we need to make is
생일.
whatever date it is not 생신. She's not of 생신 age.
다음 달이에요. I don't know how this got started, but it's Teddy's
I love it.
birthday.
I'm going along with it.
It's Andrew's wife's birthday and whomever else. We have many September babies, but PD님 아니라고요. 합시다. There was an incident involving the team leader from the Lake Coast Guard officer Lee Jae-seok's case, right?
Right. So this happened yesterday. So the Incheon Coast Guard and Fire Department received a report that this team leader, 팀장 of the deceased Coast Guard officer's team, had gone into that mud flat near the site where the accident happened around 11:55 a.m.
Yes.
So according to the authorities, this team leader apparently met with the deceased officer's family to apologize to them. However, this visit was unplanned. It was not scheduled. The family had planned a memorial service at the observatory that overlooks the site of the accident to say goodbye to their son 11 days after the accident. However, this officer, the team leader, apparently just showed up in full uniform carrying a bouquet of flowers to apologize to the family for not protecting E, and he also got down on his knees.
So what happened?
But the family was outraged and they apparently threw the flower back at the officer. And the officer and then kind of went on this almost rant saying that all the objective documents and records are there and the causes and the problems need to be investigated fully. He then turned to his teammates who were there invited and said that it was his last order and plea for everyone to fully cooperate with the prosecution's investigation, to not lie to avoid any responsibility. He then addressed reporters saying that what you know to the reporters isn't everything, isn't the whole truth, and to only write the truth. However, he then won't answer the reporters' questions. After this, he stated that he was leaving flowers for the deceased officer at the site of the accident. So when he went to the mud flat, the special unit from Chungbu Coast Guard, Incheon Coast Guard Patrol, nearby Pyeongtaek Coast Guard, they were all dispatched. They collectively sent 32 officers plus 6 patrol vessels, along with 4 firefighters and 2 vehicles to respond to this call.
Okay.
The Coast Guard rescued the officer from the mud flats around 1:06 p.m. So this incident lasted for about an hour, and the water had apparently come up to knee-high depth at that time. But in terms of any laws that may or may not have been broken, the Coast Guard stated that there is a sign that says no entry unless you have prior permission. However, this was not put up by the authorities, but by the nearby fishing industry, so it doesn't seem like he broke any laws.
I see. So, of course, once again, that tragic case, the aftermath. Now we're going to talk about a case that we've been following, the 롯데카드 hacking case. Customers, they're angry about the card company's compensation package. What's going on?
Right. So first, of course, they were baffled by the extent of the hacking. Millions were affected, including 280,000 having had their card number, the card expiration date, and the CVC numbers. So basically, that's information you can use to make online transactions.
Yes.
And then when the company's CEO announced earlier this week the compensation measures, they were, let's say, baffled again, to the point that there might be a massive lawsuit brewing. So what the company offered is a 10-month zero-interest installment payment, 10개월 무이자 할부, and waiving annual fees for next year.
And even this, what they're offering right now, is apparently conditional?
Well, because in order for you to use that interest-free installment payment, 할부, you have to have a credit card. So for people who have check or debit cards, it doesn't even apply, and their information could have been breached. Also, again, that annual fee waiver, 연회비 면제, is only for the 280,000 members who had their full-out card information leaked. But then we're also talking almost 3 million, 2.97 million to be exact, users that got their other information, and this includes personal information like resident registration, birthday, and cell phone numbers breached. And that is a serious violation.
Yes.
So waiving this fee is only for basically 10% of the affected customers who are directly at risk of getting their credit cards or check cards misused. The company also offered things like credit care services for financial damages and free text message alerts for card usage. But then if you do the math, this amounts to 1,300 won per month, 1,300won. It does kind of tie back to that earlier story I covered about penalties.
Yes.
About 1,000 won per breached case. And by the way, all of this is offered only to the end of the year. It's late September now. Right. So one online group started taking down names for a group lawsuit.
Right.
And already 3,400 people have signed up.
I see. So people not happy. Okay, moving on. A while back, we covered this theft lawsuit involving one cookie. And I hear we have an update to this case.
Cookie or cake. So chocopa이. We covered this story back in May. A 41-year-old security company employee who was found guilty of theft and fined 50,000 won, 5만 won, for eating a chocopa이, and apparently now it's a custard pie as well. So 2 cakes/cookies from an office refrigerator.
Okay.
So this incident happened last January when the defendant went into the offices, took out this cake and other snacks, totaled a little over 1,000 won from the fridge inside the office at a logistics company. Well, his argument was that his fellow employees and other contracted workers said that you can eat the snacks out of the fridge. But the company said that the employees have given snacks to the contracted workers, but that they have never taken the food straight out of the fridge. And the fridge is so deep inside the offices that actually is crossing a line.
Okay.
But again, we are talking about snacks worth exactly 1,050 won.
The appeals case apparently is going differently.
Right. So he was found guilty of theft in the first trial. The appeals is going on. Kind of a big difference is how public this case has gotten between then and now.
Yes.
So the defendant's attorney actually requested 2 new witnesses, and they could be kind of a game changer because according to the defense's attorney, these 2 people could prove that other employees and contracted workers also ate snacks out of the office fridge. So this could be a very pointed accusation. The attorney also submitted an opinion giving background on why this very small theft case had to come all the way to a criminal appeals trial.
Yes.
Because, well, and then also why would the defendant face a heavier, attorney's fees as opposed to just paying 5만 won in the fines. Well, first, if he is fired and he's been working with the securities contract company for 15 years, he could risk losing his job. And then we have to ask about pensions and all of that following this. The attorney also said that the defendant had some friction with the company due to his labor union activities, that he's a part of the union, and the union recently has been making demands that same incentives and bonuses be paid to the full-time workers and the contract workers, and also asking for the subcontracted workers to be hired directly by the company. So that, again, I'm saying this is an opinion from the defense's attorney, so take that with a grain of salt, but this is very much an ongoing court case.
Right, so there might be additional layers to this case. All right, not getting the respect you need and deserve in the workplace can really make your job unpleasant. We know this. But it can actually have wider, far-reaching effects.
And affect your sleep.
Oh.
So speaking of taking your work home,
Yes.
well, into your subconscious as well.
Okay.
So this is according to research by Yonsei Severance Hospital's preventive medicine team led by Professor Yoon Jin-ha. This team analyzed data from some 19,000 workers who participated in the government's industrial safety and health research. So it looked at this correlation between low social support at your workplace and insomnia. So this is based on whether one gets respect from their bosses or coworkers, getting help and productive feedback, productive being key here, and having their work concerns be listened to by, again, bosses and colleagues.
Okay.
So here, out of the 19,000, there were about 3,000 workers who fell into the low social support group, so not getting the help they needed. Overall, out of the entire 19,000 pool, 7.2% of respondents said they suffered from insomnia. Remember that? A little over 7%.
Okay.
But then when we look at the low support receiving group, that response rate went up to 12.3%. So that's a 5-point increase, not insignificant. And then if you compare that to the group that said, I believe I receive a lot of social support from my workplace, their insomnia rate was below average at 6.2%. Again, this is based on data and finding correlations. However, they also adjust the data for other factors that could interrupt your sleep, like age, smoking, drinking, income, working hours. However, the team confirmed that even after the adjustments, the level of support you do receive from your workplace, it could very much affect your sleep.
Well, there's evidence now. So thank you for going over all the Woggly news, and we'll be sure to check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Haley.
Have a great day.
All right, now, listeners, it's time for your traffic and weather update. It is is now 15 past the hour. Let's see what's happening out on the roads here in Busan. First up, there's congestion on Gaya-daero from Daegum intersection to Naengjeong Station. It's looking slow on Gwanmun-daero from Gaya overpass to Sujang Tunnel. And there is backup on Hwangyong-daero from Hwangyong Tunnel to Munjeon intersection. And it's backed up from Manduk intersection to Namhae Expressway, the Gupo Nakdong-gang-kyo, the bridge there. Currently, it is 20 degrees Celsius under partially cloudy skies here in Busan. It's going to go up to 26 today. Across the nation, rain throughout, starting in Jeju and spreading nationwide through Thursday. Today is Chubun, one of the traditional 24 solar cycles, widely recognized as the turning point from the summer heat to cooler fall days and longer nights. The drought disaster for Gangneung City has been lifted, and the main water source, the Obong Reservoir's water reserve rate, stands at 61%. And this was your traffic and weather. It's time for your special interview. The shocking news of Charlie Kirk's death on September 10th at a Utah University campus quickly spread across the U.S., gripping the nation's attention with the subsequent manhunt for the shooter and tributes from high-profile figures. And the aftermath of Kirk's death is still unfolding with those who criticize his views, while supporters hail him almost like a martyr right now, devoted to youth political engagement. So we also covered the late night talk show controversy. We talked about Jimmy Kimmel, and the latest is that he's going to be put back. He's going to come back on air as announced by ABC. So yesterday there was a memorial service in Arizona that drew a crowd of almost 100,000, including U.S. President Donald Trump. So today we're trying to better understand this situation because here in Korea, people are asking, who is Charlie Kirk? So we have invited William Muck, who's a professor of political science and coordinator of global studies at North Central College. He's going to join us again. Hi, Professor. I hope you're doing well.
Always so good to be here.
Yes, yes. So first of all, if you could explain simply who Charlie Kirk was, especially people here in Korea, everybody's hearing his name and they want to know, what's the hubbub? Who is he?
Sure. Well, this is also the case in the United States where a lot of people didn't know about Charlie Kirk until after the assassination. So he was the president and founder of an organization called Turning Point USA. And this was a very, very powerful organization that was connecting with young people across the country. Charlie Kirk was a very dynamic, engaging individual. He was on social media and podcasts, but he was arguably maybe best known for these tours of college campuses. And he would go to college campuses and have hard conversations. And he just loved sort of engaging, sometimes disruptive conversations. And so he became, in many ways, the focal point for young conservatives in America. So had just a tremendously powerful influence on that group.
Yes, yes. Thanks for explaining. And so if you can walk us through what happened that day, the day he was assassinated, what do we know?
So the really important thing is that there still is a lot more to learn, and authorities haven't shared a lot of information. And one of the things we're seeing is massive disinformation all over the place. We know that the shooter, Tyler Robinson, was 22 years old. He apparently has confessed to the crime to authorities, but we really don't know a ton about his motives just yet. I think the authorities are starting to learn what was going on, and apparently had a deep-seated hatred of Charlie Kirk and saw this act as a way of pushing back against. But I think we should be careful until we get more information. It's hard to speculate, right? I mean, I think we got to wait until the authorities come forward with more information so we can understand that. But this was the opening event of Turning Point University's college campus tour this year. So this is where Charlie Kirk was going to go around to college campuses across the country and engage in these kind of conversations. So, very early in terms of the investigation, but a really, really significant event for the U.S. political system.
Yes, yes. So yesterday there was a large memorial service in Arizona that was held for Charlie Kirk with a lot of people, some people say hundreds of thousands, I don't know the exact figure, but key political figures attended, including U.S. President Donald Trump, among other notable people. So what does the scale and tone of that memorial service tell us about his influence? And some might say even, as you pointed out, many people might have not known about him before his death, but they certainly do now.
It was really an extraordinary scene. And I think the language that was used there is really telling. So the president, the vice president, a number of key officials spoke. Stephen Miller's comments, an advisor to the president, got a lot of attention. And what was really fascinating was the blending of religion and politics. And I think that's one thing. You mentioned kind of this martyr figure. And I think that's how many people are understanding his death, his murder, that this Charlie Kirk has become a martyr. And what we're seeing in terms of the U.S. political environment is this merging of Christianity and nationalism and politics. A lot of the speakers yesterday were talking about the evildoers and not just talking about the individual who carried out this act of political violence, but the broader political movement. And so I think there's a blurring of the line between this individual act of violence and the opposition, which has been pushing back against Donald Trump and MAGA and Charlie Kirk and others. So I think this is a pretty extraordinary movement as we understand some of these fault lines in American politics.
Yes. And so generally speaking, because it's very difficult to gauge from South Korea, what is the general response been by Americans, the public? Has it been as divisive as the media outlets would, make it seem?
Yeah, I think so. It is. It's really something to see. And I think you've seen two reactions. On the left, I think political leaders on the left were very clear to condemn this act of political violence, but at the same time also point out their perspective that Charlie Kirk oftentimes engaged in very, very divisive language. Charlie Kirk did not hold back on his views of LGBTQ, of people of color, of women. I mean, he was oftentimes very, very aggressive and very, very confrontational in his language. Many described him as using hateful language. So I think that has been the reaction on the left. I think the right has been very, very different. So we're seeing polarization. And this act of political violence has brought together the right in a way that I haven't seen in generations, right? It really is this unifying moment. There's a sense of anger. And what we're seeing out of the president really is it's time for retribution. So again, this is why it feels like a really precarious and dangerous moment in the U.S. political system, because partisanship is so extreme and driving the reaction to this.
Yes. And of course, there have been people who have reacted in some people might say controversial ways or in their own way to address what happened, because it was it's become this kind of big event in the United States. For example, I've already mentioned late night host Jimmy Kimmel, who was temporarily or suspended indefinitely. Those were the exact words. And then now I think ABC just announced that I guess they're putting him back on air. And some might say, is this government censorship?
Yeah, I think that's the real concern, right? So in these moments, social media is not really our friend, right? It causes us to engage in the most extreme ways. And then also to target those who maybe, Jimmy Kimmel's language was perceived by some as very extreme, but others thought it was simply satire, right? This is what comedians do. And so it's raised this really important question in the U.S. political system. Is it okay to crack down on those who are critical or even those who use hate speech? Now, I wouldn't describe Jimmy Kimmel's language as hate speech, but some have. And the president and others have said it's time to go after those individuals who created this environment that led to violence. So what he's doing is he's broadening the way we understand this act of political violence to say it's not just about the shooter, it's also about the political context and climate. Now, many of us who look at the First Amendment and freedom of speech dearly are concerned by the potential spiral effect here, where one's death could be used to weaponize the government against free speech. So it's a really, again, a precarious moment for many, many issues across the U.S. political spectrum.
Right. And so this singular event, how does it fit into the bigger picture of the political polarization? It does, I don't know, to me, I just feel like from what I'm reading and seeing, it seems to be even more divisive and even more polarization, no?
Yeah, no, I think so. Maybe not more polarization, but it's a reflection of where we are. And I think what's happened is this one incident has really hit many on the right in a very, very meaningful way, right? I think their grieving, their anger, their frustration is absolutely authentic, but we also have to think about making sure that those emotions don't drive policy. And we should say that we've seen a rise in political violence in the United States that transcends the political spectrum. We've seen attacks on the U.S. president. We've seen attacks on the Democratic governor of Pennsylvania, Paul Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi's wife. So we've seen a variety of attacks on Democratic legislators in Minnesota. So it's a variety of people, but this particular incident seems to have struck the right in a way that really has them motivated and ready to carry out retribution against the other side, not just the individual, but also that other political movement.
Right. And oftentimes when you're kind of there, like in the States, for example, it might be difficult to take maybe a step back, right? Take a little breather and to see things as objectively as possible. But what should we be taking away from what's happening right now?
Well, I think a couple things. The danger, once political violence and once we sort of get a mix of religion and politics and all those things, it becomes very, very dangerous and can easily escalate. I think the advice right now is to be careful. Disagreement is fine. Dehumanization is very, very problematic, right? So we can talk and disagree, but it's never right to engage in political violence. And it's also very, very dangerous to dehumanize the other side, right? That's what legitimizes that violence. And that's what we've seen in the U.S. political system. And I think, to be fair, we've seen a lot out of President Trump, right? This is something that has been central to his brand. So I think there has to be a toning down across the board of this dehumanization language and to return to a more normal politics. Politics in the United States feels a lot like wrestling, right? It's crazy, it's dynamic, and I would love to see more normal politics, and I think everybody would.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for really thoroughly explaining the situation to our listeners and viewers. We do appreciate it, and take care, Professor.
Thanks so much for having me.
This was Professor William Muck, an in-depth look at Charlie Kirk, I guess the legacy that is at this point, that memorial service yesterday. Of course, some of you might have seen it. And so we wanted to further explain the connotation and just what was going on behind the scenes. We're now going to take a song break. This is Love Me Harder by Ariana Grande and The Weeknd.
Tell me something I need to know. Then take my breath and never let it go. If you just let me invade your space, I'll take the pleasure, take it with the pain. And if in the moment I bite my lip, baby, in that moment you'll know.
BEFM Morning Wave in Busan Fall Outdoor Special Stage. Fall for English-friendly Busan. What does it mean to live in an English-friendly Busan? And what role does English play as Busan rises as a global hub city?
올 가을 여러분에게 영어하기 편한 도시 부산으로 가는 길을 안내합니다.
This fall, on September 27th, Saturday at 3 p.m., join us for a special outdoor stage event at F1963 Open Square, featuring a thought-provoking panel with a professional English educator, Lee Bo-young, British broadcaster Peter Bint, K-pop idol Aaron, and me, Catherine. Plus, enjoy a special live performance by Busan's English-friendly city ambassador Kim Jo-han and singer-songwriter 커피 소년. BEFM Morning Wave in Busan Fall Outdoor Special Stage. Fall for English-friendly Busan.
9월 27일 토요일 오후 3시 F1963 오픈스퀘어에서 여러분을 기다립니다.
All right, so as you heard, we're going to be playing this a few more times because we are excited about this Saturday, hoping to see you all out there at 3 p.m. the 27th. You've memorized it at this point, right? F1963, F1963. So hope to see many of you there. And now we're going to get to Simply Ocean. All right, Wavers, are you ready for our next edition of Simply Ocean? So just in case, if you've missed the last 2 weeks, we've been literally diving into some of the issues shaping our oceans and seas. So here is once again Hannah Jo. She's executive director of the Korean International Ocean Film Festival. So welcome back.
Thank you, Catherine. Hello, everyone.
Yes.
Suddenly, weather get changed.
It's like it turned like on a dime and it's like, snap.
Right.
It's fall now.
So I got a little bit of cold.
I
so
know.
please understand my voice.
Yes. But thank you so much for coming here into the studio, even though you're feeling a little bit under the weather.
Okay. I'm good.
Yes. So what are we focusing on today?
All right. So I'd like to start with a global story that connects directly to the future of our ocean.
Okay.
So recently, the Financial Times reported that the High Sea Treaty has now been ratified by more than 60 countries and will officially become international law in next January.
Oh.
So this treaty aims to protect life in the open water beyond the national border by creating new marine protected areas and requiring countries to apply precautionary approach to actives on high sea.
I see. So what are some of the biggest issues?
Oh, right. So one of the biggest issues it touches is deep sea mining plans, which is to extract valuable material from the ocean floor, which is thousands of meters below of the surface.
Right. So this whole idea like deep sea mining, some of as a layperson, it's kind of hard to wrap our minds around this whole idea. It sounds so sci-fi, right? So what are we exactly trying to extract way down there?
All right. So deep sea mining means using giant machine to scrape seabed for minerals like cobalt, nickel, and manganese.
Yes.
So these metals are key ingredients for batteries.
Yes.
For the cell phone and smart, the electronic cards.
Yes. Yes. These are really like when we hear like cobalt and nickel, these are like precious minerals, right?
Especially these days.
Yeah, I mean, all of us, we have smartphones, we have devices, and they have a little bit of these types of materials in them. So it's about getting the resources we need, once again, for tech and also for renewable energy, right?
So here's the concern. The deep sea is one of the least explored ecosystem on Earth so far. So creatures there have adapted to survive under extreme pressures and darkness and cold. But if we bulldoze those seafloors, we could wipe out species even we haven't, discovered it yet.
Right. I remember seeing, reading an article where I don't remember the specific number, but like that's like the last frontier, they're saying.
Right.
The deep seabed. There are so many undiscovered creatures that we don't even know about.
Right.
But by kind of bulldozing, it's such risky behavior because the damage, we don't know what damage could happen, right? I'm sure scientists are very worried about this.
So there are several, worries they are worrying about. So first thing is ecosystem destruction.
Okay.
So habitats that you just mentioned that millions of years to form could be gone forever.
Sure.
So for example, just delicate corals like, structures on the deep sea bed, they only grow a very few millimeters over a year. So if heavy machines scrape them away, they won't come back in our lifetime or even, hundreds of lifetimes.
So let that sink in. In the deep seabed, some things only grow a few millimeters like over the whole year.
Right.
And we're destroying it then. Okay, what else?
And second is carbon release. The deep sea bed is like a giant carbon belt. So disturbing it could unlock greenhouse gases that has been trapped safely for a million years.
Okay.
So think of it as open a door in a basement that has been sealed forever. So suddenly all that stored material escape into the atmosphere and nobody knows what's going to happen.
It kind of almost sounds like Pandora's box. Like we don't know what's in there.
Right.
But like by us doing that, we're kind of opening that up, right?
Even we try to reduce them. That's more important things.
Okay. What else?
And third is noise and pollution. So mining machines are lower than a jet engine underwater.
Sure.
So that constant roar that can confuse whales and other marine mammals that relies on sound to navigate. So on the top of that, mining creates a huge clouds of mud and sediments. You can easily think about the construction site.
Yes.
So that will also affect the fish and filter feeders such as sponges.
Okay. So it's not just mining. We're talking about all of this, our behavior could unravel the entire kind of the balance of the deep ocean.
Exactly. So that is why countries like France and many Pacific Island nations are calling for moratorium on a deep sea mining.
Yes.
And under the new High Sea Treaty, more nations are expected to push for stronger safeguards before any licenses are granted.
Yes. So I do remember last week you shared a very kind of moving animated short. So is there something in terms of like a film that you want to introduce to our listeners today?
Definitely.
Okay.
So this week, I'd like to introduce the film titled Deep Sea Rising.
Okay.
A 2023 document directed by Matthew Wright. The film takes us on a journey to the deep depths of the ocean and into boardroom where decisions about deep sea mining are being made.
Ooh.
So this film is narrated by Jason Momoa, known as Aquaman.
Ooh, yes.
And he's also passionate ocean activist as well. So the documentary connects the hidden wonders of deep ocean strange, so glowing creatures and fragile ecosystem with a cooperate the political race to mine it for minerals. So it is really powerful because it shows both sides, the beauty of the world we barely couldn't see and the risk of the destroying it for profit. So deep sea rising makes us ask whether long-term gaining is worse than the irreversible loss of Earth's last untouched frontier.
Yes. It sounds so intense. So for those of us who are joining us on NoTube, we're kind of playing bits of the trailer right now. I know you can't hear the audio, but you can definitely see the visuals.
So look at those beautiful
amazing
creatures.
Right. I mean, like so beautiful. Like I don't even know how to describe them. For those of you who are not able to join us on NoTube right now, I do highly recommend you can check this out, right? Yes?
Please
so what do you want to leave our audience with today? Because I mean, there are so many decisions that we make as human beings, but like we need to be more responsible, no?
Probably since we mentioned the material, keep saying that you probably know what you should do. The first thing is use electronics longer before upgrading. Don't get a new phone.
This is doable, but I know many people around me. I'm not one of them. I've had my phone for, I think, almost 5 years. I'm very proud of that. And just if it's not broken, I've gotten it fixed. Like the screen was cracked, so I've gotten it fixed. But I'm still sticking with it as long as I can.
Exactly.
So why is this important though? Like not trying to upgrade to every new phone like all the time.
Because less demand means less pressure to mining new resources.
Like you just mentioned, like the
Yes.
cobalt, etc. Okay, what else?
And number 2, recycling batteries and electronics, just like you do. Because valuable materials can be reused instead of taken from the ocean floor. So in case you have to upgrade and change it, just bring it to the recycle center. They'll do their job. And number 3, stay informed and support ocean protection. Just speak up for the policies that put ecosystem above the short-term profits.
I see. So these are 3 things that we can definitely do, like all the minor, small individual steps, but they do add up to pretty major change, no?
Yeah, it's really important.
So today is actually going to be a wrap-up day as we thank once again Hannah Jo for coming in for the past 3 weeks to have this special segment, Simply Ocean. So we really appreciate your time, your expertise, and your passion for what we talked about.
No, thank you for having me here. It was a great experience that, I could share a lot of stories.
Yes.
With the broadcasting, not only the film that I usually deliver.
Right. So, of course, wishing you the best. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you so much.
Everybody, this was Hannah Jo. And for now, after, I let all that information sink in and you can think about the ways you can not contribute as much to, the deep sea mining. We're going to take a song break. So here it is. This is 회상 by 장범준.
길을 걸었지 누군가 옆에 있다고 느꼈을 때 나는 알아버렸네 이미 그대 떠난 후라는 걸 나는 혼자 걷고 있던 거지 갑자기 바람이 차가워지네 마음은 얼고 나는 그곳에 서서 조금도 움직일 수 없었지 마치 잃어버린 사람처럼 나는 놀라서 있던 거지 달빛이 숨어서 느끼고 있네 떠나버린 그 사람 생각나네 돌아선 그 사람 생각나네 묻지 않았지 왜 나를 떠나느냐고 하지만 마음 너무 아팠네 이미 그대 돌아서 있는 걸 혼자 어쩔 수 없었지 미운 건 오히려 나였어 떠나버린 그 사람 생각나네 돌아선 그 사람 생각나네 길을 걸었지 누군가 옆에 있다고 느꼈을 때 나는 알아버렸네 이미 그대 떠난 후라는 걸 나는 혼자 걷고 있었던 거지. 갑자기 바람이 차가워지네. 묻지 않았지. 왜 나를 떠나느냐고. 하지만 마음 너무 아팠네. 이미 그대 돌아서 있는 걸 혼자 어쩔 수 없었지. 미운 건 오히려 나였어. 갑자기 바람이 차가워지네.
Such a good song. And yesterday I felt so bad because we had so many text messages, but it was so jam-packed. I didn't have an opportunity to read any of your messages on air. So I asked our producer if I could have some time to read some of your messages from today, because you guys take so much time and effort to send in your responses. So Benny says, we have our laws here in the Philippines about data privacy, which is big news. My little brother was hacked. His FaceTime account was hacked, and it was pretty major. So I guess when your social media account is hacked, it's really, I'm sure, really stressful, especially if people are posting things that you have no intention of posting and it's not even you. I can't even imagine. So we also have a username, GD, who says, when I was in middle school, I used to play online games. I met a person through the internet. We shared our IDs and passwords. Oh, GD, you were so young. That's a no-no. You cannot share your ID and password. And then he writes, sometimes he stole all my items. So I felt so annoyed and angry. I would too. 아이디와 그거 패스워드 공유하면 안 되잖아요. 근데 이제 어린 착한 마음으로 아마 했을 것 같은데 I hope you have learned from that kind of painful lesson. Never share your ID and password, especially with somebody you have met online. And for other souvenir. He said, 저는 해킹 당해서 중땡 나라에 이상한 광고 글을 무진장 작성해서 카페로부터 밴 당했어요. So he writes that his account on a used platform kind of item platform was hacked, and so he was actually banned from certain groups and social media because of this incident. And 약간 조금 화나고 억울할 것 같아요. 내가 쓰지 않았는데 when something like that happens to you. And so I was mentioning earlier, for me, I've had two incidents where the whole, the email hacking, I had to send out a mass email and say, hey, this is not me. Don't open. From now on, I'm going to use a different email account. So yes, that was majorly stressful because everybody on my contact list got this massive weird email about, that pill, the blue pill, right? That was so embarrassing. So anyhow, remember, Saturday, our 공개 방송 is coming up, our special outdoor stage. If you haven't heard by now, 3 p.m. September 27th at F1963. Hope to see you all there. It's time to say goodbye, and let's end on a happy note. So Don't Look Back in Anger by Oasis is the song that we've chosen for today. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.
You know you might find a better place to play. You said that you've never been, but all the things that you've seen slowly fade away. So I start a revolution from my bed, 'cause you said